All right, guys, welcome back to the show. We have the new show, Demon News, is here, and we're going to keep cranking it out. Now, we have penises in the women's locker room and the women's restroom. And we have a big muss and fuss going on about these transgender women being in the females' locker rooms and bathrooms. We're going to get right into it right here on Demon News. Let's go. All right, guys. All right, here we go. So, I don't know if you guys heard about this story, but there was a woman, a black woman, in a Gold's Gym, and she turned around and seen a transgender male in there, half naked. She say he was half naked. She could see his long, big genitalia, and it was this white looking guy. Okay, and she say she screamed to him, "Excuse me, sir, what you doing in here?" And he said to her, "I'm a female. I got the right to be here. I'm a female." So I'm going to show you guys the footage and what all happened, and I will come and give my final thought like Jerry Springer. Okay? And that's how I'm going to do my show. I'm going to show y'all some videos, and then I'm going to always just give my final thought. We're going to call it the Demon Final Thought. Okay? All right, but roll the clip, guys.
Women like to see. Exactly. Get out of the way now. No. Now he knows how to be a man, right? Now he knows how to be a man. Stay out of the women's locker room. We don't want it. He needs to have his gym membership revoked for that shit. And the woman told you. He assaulted me. The girl told already. We already filed reports. No. That's fine. I want the video. You can't get rid of me for this. I'm a woman and I have every right to not want a man in the restroom when I'm naked. There are girls naked in there. Look at them walking in there like it's okay. It's not okay. I'm not causing. Gold's Gym. Men. Grown men with big in the women's locker room. And that's why I'm getting kicked out. And I want to make sure the girls know. So everybody saw that man in the locker room. No one saying shit. And I'm done with it. It's stupid. It's dangerous. Me naked in front of a man without my permission. I'm the one who gets kicked out the gym, y'all. I'm terminated. Had the worst experience ever at the gym, at Gold's Gym, and I think this is probably happening at gyms across America, where like trans women are going into the women's locker room and not really caring about how women feel about it. And it's really hurtful, yo. Like, how you gonna say you want to be a woman or that you are a woman, but you don't give a how women feel? Today I was naked in the locker room. I turn around and there's a man there in boy clothes, lip gloss, standing there looking at me. I'm butt naked. So the first thing I think is maybe there's a worker in here. Maybe I missed the sign. I say the word sir to say, "Sir, what are you doing in here?" He goes, "Don't talk to me. I'm a woman. I have a right to be in here." Immediately, I'm pissed because I'm butt naked. I feel violated. I feel like weird. Like I don't want to deal with this, right? So the girls are walking in and they're seeing the commotion, and they actually chime in and say, yo, I don't know why he's in here. He's not supposed to be in here. And then I talk to the people that work at Gold's Gym, and they don't really have anything to do. They just like, oh, we can file a report about it, incident report. What the is going on? Like, listen, how can you say you're a woman or you want to be a woman and you don't care how women feel? That's nothing more manly than not giving a fuck about how women feel, I'd like to think. And I get it, like, everybody has their own things, and I don't want to say that I know everything about gay rights or trans rights. I'm a lesbian. I've been a lesbian my whole life. I treat people how I want to be treated regardless of whatever their sexual orientation is or whatever they decide. So I'm not transphobic, and I'm not homophobic. I'm not straightphobic. I'm not racist. None of these things. I just believe in treating people how I want to be treated. Why do you guys think it's okay for men to be in the women's restroom? And like, when is the cutoff point? Is it like, oh, you cut off your penis, you can come in here? Why aren't women making the laws? And if you really want to be safe and feel good, why don't we just make trans restrooms?
Shop bestsellers at Ashley, where no matter what your holiday tradition.
The people that Tish says she confronted in the locker room. Her name is Alexis Black, and she's joining us now. Alexis, welcome to TMZ Live.
Hi.
Hey, Alexis. So we spoke with Tish, and she said when she came face to face with you, it was obvious to her you were a man. So, I don't want to get terribly graphic here, but can you kind of explain, how you appeared? Do you believe that she was reading something in that you didn't appear to be male? She perceived you to be such.
Well, first, I told the people that raised me that this is the way that I was when I was 8 years old, and really I stuffed it down pretty deep, and I began using hormones this year in February, and I actually relinquished that information to her about, name change, and it says female on my ID, and hormones, and I'm registered as a female with the gym, so...
And were you at that moment, because she told us about a couple of different encounters, were you fully clothed at that moment?
Well, she has become aggressive with me on 4 different occasions, actually at different locations in Los Angeles at Gold's Gym. But, fully clothed. I believe I was enrobed in a towel on one occasion. And this last time I was clothed the entire time.
We know that's a lie. One of the people that Tish says she confronted in the locker room, her name is Alexis Black, and she's joining us now. Alexis, welcome to TMZ Live.
Hi.
Hey, Alexis. So we spoke with Tish, and she said when she came face to face with you, it was obvious to her you were a man. So, I don't want to get terribly graphic here, but can you kind of explain, how you appeared? Do you believe that she was reading something in that you didn't appear to be male? She perceived you to be such.
Well, first, I told the people that raised me that this is the way that I was when I was 8 years old, and really I stuffed it down pretty deep, and I began using hormones this year in February, and I actually relinquished that information to her about, name change, and it says female on my ID, and hormones, and I'm registered as a female with the gym, so...
And were you at that moment, because she told us about a couple of different encounters, were you fully clothed at that moment?
Well, she has become aggressive with me on 4 different occasions, actually at different locations in Los Angeles at Gold's Gym. But, fully clothed. I believe I was enrobed in a towel on one occasion. And this last time I was clothed the entire time.
Here's what banks are trying to hide from small businesses.
Hair follicles removed from my face for 2 hours yesterday in a process called electrolysis. In order to have that surgery down there, one must have every single hair done that. In order to do that, it would take we'll just say a year or two to have that done. It's literally not even a possibility with where I am in my transition.
So look, from her perspective, I'm just wondering if you see her perspective. She's saying that she's looking at you, say, in a towel, and you still have male genitalia, and you may be transitioning, but could you understand her being uncomfortable?
Well, I certainly do not understand it, but I do get the notion of the fear-mongering that she's perpetuating. The truth in the moment is far from what she is purporting it to be. Literally every time that she's done that, I've had women in the locker room comforting me because of how aggressive she was towards me.
So she was saying, why don't they have a third bathroom? Especially the gym you're talking about at the Beverly Center. That's been recently built. They had a layout that they could have adjusted, and they could have put a third locker room in. Do you think that would have been appropriate, or do you feel like you are as entitled to use the women's locker room just as Tish is?
Big dinner box, 8 wings, 5 breadsticks, 2 pizzas, big dinner box, 8 wings.
Women's locker room just as Tish is.
That's a great question. I'm glad that she said it, that you have put it on the air. And the answer is that would necessitate 2 different ones, because some people trans MTF, some people go FTM. And so that's 2 rooms right there. You're not going to put a trans woman with a trans man just because.
I mean, as you can see, that could get a little crazy. Being in your gym, that could put yourself in a woman's position. You at your gym and you naked, and then you turn around and you see this man there and he got a penis. Now, here's my thought about that, guys, is if you still have a penis, you should still use the man's bathroom. If you have a vagina, you use the woman's bathroom. I believe that you use the whatever bathroom you go in, it belongs to whatever tool that you use. If you use a vagina, you go into the woman's bathroom. If you use a penis, you go into the man's bathroom. And that's just the way it is. Okay, if you feel threatened going into the man's bathroom, take your lipstick off and look like a normal guy when you go in there. And then when you finish using the man's bathroom, put your lipstick back on, your wig on, and all that, and go back out. Okay, so, or we should make trans bathrooms. Put a T on it, okay? Have a bathroom with a W for women, a M for men, and a T for trans, okay? And they should have their own bathroom. I agree with that. I think that's a great idea, And I'm going to show you guys a clip how dangerous this stuff could get. Check this school district out.
Facebook group to threaten a 7th grade transgender student. Achille Public Schools closed Monday and Tuesday after this post on a parents group. Heads up, parents of 5th through 7th grade. The transgender is already using the girls' bathroom. We have been told how the school has gone above and beyond to make sure he has his own restroom, yet he is still using the girls. Really? Looks like it's going to be a long year. Other adults responded to the post, calling the student this thing and a half baked maggot. One parent even suggested a, quote, good sharp knife would stop the student, and another said their kid should whip his until he quits coming to school. The superintendent of the district said he made the decision to close the school on the advice of local law.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there you go right there. See how things can get ugly and school districts can get all up in the arms and when all this craziness going on. I mean, these kids is very confused. I mean, it's something that I don't know. Now my thought about the guy in the gym is these men is just freaks, because if you got a penis, you don't belong in the woman's locker room. You don't belong in the woman's locker room, bro. You just don't. So, yeah, man. I just thought I'd share that. This is the news show, Demon News, and we're going to stay on top of all the hot topics, guys. Hit that subscribe button, share the show, and leave some comments on how you feel about the topic, all right? I read all the comments. So y'all have a blessed day. Peace.